A new day dawns on the Bilgewater, repainted, repaired, and retrofitted, but most importantly, reassigned. Slowly, she returns to the sea, sliding backwards from the dry dock with the winch's gentle hand. The water is displaced gracefully. The Bilgewater leaves Boat Town with a new paint job and a new role. But has anything really changed? Welcome to Bloodwine.
Hello.
Hello!
Hey, how's it going?
Welcome to the 20s of 22.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's one way to put it.
Yeah.
you've made it.
Yeah.
I feel like normally you're supposed to be like, woo, new year, but after the previous several new years, it's just like,
Alright.
alright, motherfucker!
Grabs shield. Bring it on. Let's go.
No, I don't even got that in me.
You're just getting up and you like wipe a little bit of blood from the edge of your mouth and you're like, Happy New Year!
Like, it's not even... I feel less like that and more like a child in a Walmart somewhere in East Texas being like, hey, that backpack has a bulletproof insert in it. Can I have that one? Like...
Yes, I would very much like the backpack with the bulletproof insert. That would be great right about now.
Like, I'm not in it for blood. I just want to learn my maths.
For some reason, when you said you were a child living in East Texas, I thought you were going to make a reference to the Mystery Flesh Pit.
Oh yeah, that one too. Mystery.
But that's in West Texas, isn't it?
I thought it was in like Wyoming.
Junction.
Excuse me, quad the fuck?
Right?
Okay, I strongly recommend, and this is for the audience too, if you haven't heard of it. There's a Tumblr. If you do that, it's long. You want to do it old to new. It's like graphic design documents, like you see reports and images about Mystery Flesh Pit National Park. There's a story, but it's like you piece it together. But
Okay.
there's a YouTuber called Wendigoon that has a good rundown on it.
Mm-hmm. Highly recommend.
But the plot is, there's a place in West Texas where they dug and they found meat, and they explored and they found a lot of meat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they found out they could extract stuff from the meat for profit.
Yep.
And it was made a national park, but also, like, it's tourist friendly, so they put like visitor centers and Burger Kings and stuff like that in it.
I would not go to the Burger King at Mystery Flesh Park.
No. See, imagine
You do not eat at the
if you
Burger
will.
King at Mystery Flesh Park.
It's like the next evolution of Lovecraft. You know how Lovecraft named his cat a silly thing, and then decided that the greatest horror that humanity can face is something that they can't wrap their heads around. Mystery Flesh Park is like, what if humanity encountered something they couldn't comprehend, and so they built a theme park there, and the real horror is capitalism. Like, I think there's literally a brochure that says, "Come, witness man-made horrors beyond your comprehension." Like, it's very good.
My favorite part
Yeah.
is that extremely early they mention like eating the meat, and they go, "Early explorers tried the meat for survival." It's extremely gamey, gritty, and acidic, and is not recommended. Like, they just straight up say like, "No, people ate the meat. It's not good. It's just bad meat."
No, see, my favorite part is when they're like,
That's what
yeah,
the Elder God wants you to think.
Like,
no, don't
my
worry.
favorite part of it is they don't say it's toxic. They don't say it's unethical.
Yeah.
They don't say like
Yeah.
it's something you shouldn't be doing or else you'll awaken it. They just go like, "No, it's not good, so we don't use it."
See, my favorite part is that they find out this thing's excreting an aphrodisiac just nonstop.
I
for
was
20
just about to say the libido baths.
So yeah, for $20, you can climb into that organ, and they'll just let you be in there for a bit. And then also, Coca-Cola started selling their heartthrob themed cola that's just full of this stuff. And the best part is, so they have rangers that crawl around in this thing just with like machetes, like cutting paths through the meat to get all the like, different organs. But then, in order to prevent people from getting trapped down there, they've installed blue phone booths every few hundred meters.
And you know who installed them? AT&T.
So AT&T has blue telephone towers in this thing's arteries. You can crawl
Inside
around
the
in there.
flesh god.
Yeah.
All right, I know we have to stop, but I want to talk about the flesh pit a little bit more.
What is the flesh pit?
What do you think the flesh pit is?
I don't know.
So,
like a whale or something?
Think bigger. Think they have tried digging to the bottom and they can't find it.
It's like 20 kilometers.
Like an SCP.
Yes, 100%. The
No, that's
SCP
the right
failed
vibe.
to contain. Yeah, failed to contain it, and a bunch of entrepreneurs built a theme park in it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's great. They have a They have a mall in this thing's stomach.
I especially love because like there's that Doctor Who mentality where it's just like, why does no one seem to like recall all of these monstrous events, or why is no one like majorly traumatized by the fact that Earth nearly dies like every single fucking day? And like the theory that they propose is that people just deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where you...
That's exactly what it is. What happens when humanity is like introduced to an elder god? We just, commercialize it.
It just happens in conversation. You're like, oh, see the new episode of Coordination Street? Oh, yeah. Oh, do you remember that time that, like, big snowflake thing came on Christmas? Why does it always happen on Christmas? I know. Do you remember the weird Santas?
Do you ever find it weird that these things take approximately 2 hours to resolve every single time? Okay, let me put it this way: the Flesh Pit, right? They built a visitor center in sort of the main central location, and the elevator ride to get there takes 15 minutes.
What they assume to be the central location, or
Not even
are you
the central
talking?
location,
Are you
just the
talking like
biggest
the
organ they
center
found.
of the map?
Oh, that's the best part. You're gonna like this, Ken. They have cross sections.
Oh, nice. It's layered.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Okay,
we should
wait.
probably start game, but sorry, please. Any questions are encouraged.
Is the meat, is it not rotting?
No, it's alive.
It's alive.
Yeah.
It's dormant,
It has
except for
digestive
the-
enzymes.
except for the 2007 incident.
Wait until you find out about the amalgamation organisms. See, this
Yeah,
thing
or
has
the amorphous. I love the amorphous shame. It's my favorite part.
the amorphous
I
shame.
hate-
Here we go. So,
Are you guys literally just like... Are you pulling a fast one here? Is this
no,
real?
look at this.
No,
Look at this.
Okay, this doesn't exist in real life.
Yeah.
What this is a Tumblr project done by I don't actually know if this person's a
Okay.
graphic designer. It's just you look at it and you're like, oh, graphic design work. But it's all like documents in series that like show the progression of a national park project throughout the years from the 70s through to like the 2000s.
I see.
So like the stuff that mentions that there's a Burger King here is like in a brochure that describes the Lower Visitor Center, and there's a little diagram and like. But yeah, Mystery Flesh Pit or Mystery Flesh Pit National Park is what you can look up to find this stuff. You'll be able to find stuff.
I'm very
Yeah.
intrigued by Mystery Flesh Pit National Park. That sounds like a great time. Real
I
bring
do-
your family sort of location.
I do want to finish off with the amorphous shame because it's so good. A bunch of weasels got in there at one point, millions of years ago, and then they just evolved. They realized they didn't need skin if they were inside a big flesh thing, so they just kind of evolved to not have any skin, and they're just a heap of organs that just live inside the walls.
No,
'Cause-
you would still need skin.
No, they don't.
Oh no, hold on. Here's the thing, right? So you start out as a weasel, and then as you get down there, you don't need the hair really, and
Water.
you get broader and wider for thermoregulation. And this is an organism that goes plump, plump, goes plump, plump, and there's these little caves and stuff like that, and there's bigger things in there. So you still want to avoid predation, so you end up in these little hollows. But this is a big organism, so you're able to absorb nutrients by osmosis. So, like, especially like these little spots are the best place to find water. So eventually, like this thing starts to like get vestigial arms and a tail, and the skin gets thinner and more translucent until eventually this thing's a sedentary organism and they stop working altogether. And then it's been sedentary so long that the skin is more of like a loose membrane. It's like a gelled organism, and it just kind of lives in cracks in there.
And sometimes, as it's sort of, digesting and wiggling, two of them get thrown together, and that's when they mate. It's just a heap of bones and shit in there. It's great. We love the amorphous slime. No, the amorphous shame, I believe it's called.
Okay. Okay, I can get behind this. I can get behind this.
The clowns. We don't need to go into
Okay,
that.
we can't talk about the clown chimus, otherwise we'll be here. You know what?
I feel
We're
like
really
we could
hyped up.
do an
It's
entire...
only been 12 minutes. We have spent way longer on way less funny shit.
I feel like we can just turn this into a podcast of the mystery flesh pit, and
Yeah, we
call
could
it
just
a-
do that a different day. We could just do that. That could just be a thing we do later.
Yeah.
We have a Twitch channel. We can just do that.
Yeah. It's great when you have no expectations on a channel, because you could just
Mhm.
make content, and provided you're
And-
within a certain guideline, it's great.
And it turns out people actually prefer it that way. And the people who don't like it stop watching, and the people who do like it keep watching. It's
Yeah.
magic.
Ooh.
Anyways,
Hey, do you think that Gordon Ramsay should have like a Kitchen Nightmares, but for bad Twitch streams?
I thought you were going to say in the flesh pit.
Oh my god, in the flesh
We're
pit,
also gonna stay in
yes.
the flesh pit.
100% Gordon Ramsay in the flesh pit.
Gordon Ramsay in the flesh pit. And he's cooking up the meat.
He's trying his best to make it appetizing in the slightest.
Yeah. He could probably do it, I bet.
This looks like an amorphous shame. What did you do before you walked into this kitchen? Were you with the libido baths?
Amorphous shame, more like a shame to your mother. That's the thing about Gordon Ramsay is none of his insults are actually that good. He just delivers them with such confidence you'd feel bad trying to talk back to him.
Yeah.
The other thing is that, we should probably mention is like, what are you going to do? Clap
Yeah.
back?
He
What's
can't.
he going to do? Kick you off the show? The answer is yeah.
I mean, yeah. Problem is, he's not wrong. He's not wrong to say and do the things that he does and says. He just his job is to cook. His job is not to come up with hilarious one-liners.
I wonder if he has like a team of people coming up with one-liners for him.
I don't think he does.
Like,
Wouldn't be surprised.
do you think they just have like multiple takes and like a series of writing interns come out and it's just like, what about idiot sandwich?
How about idiot sandwich?
What if you just
Yeah.
grabbed those two slices of bread and smacked the person in the face with them and called them an idiot sandwich?
I will say, I kind of feel like Gordon Ramsay might just be that funny.
Yeah,
It's
He might just have that like,
yeah.
and not like comedian funny or writer funny, just like in the moment quip funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of not having a segue, should we do game?
Sure.
So it's been a bit. It's been
It has been a
little bit.
it's been since the new year. Should I go with hey, what do you remember, or should I just like bleh?
So
Probably blah.
probably blah, but from what I remember is Crowquill's leaving.
Yeah.
On a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again.
On a chat plane.
So yeah, when last we met, you shot a dude in the face, then threw him in the ocean to be eaten by sharks, and then you sailed north.
Mhm.
And Crowquill was like, "I'm leaving, goodbye." And then Crowquill went to the Rookery, and they're like, "All right, so just get the can you get the signatures for the subcontracted ship, which is part of your agreement? Could you do this?" And Crowquill was like, "But I said bye." They're like, "No, the job assigns the ship to you."
I was so confident.
Mhm.
And then you just kind of waddled back. You're like, I said goodbye, and then I checked in for the job, but actually I'm your boss, so I have to come back now.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
The ship was repainted. It's been in dry dock in Boat Town to the north,
Mm-hmm.
and a device has been installed, I believe.
Oh right, the Go
It has
Fastinator.
been. Go Fastinator.
So currently, you have the fire crystal machine. How many fire crystals do you have? How many charges?
I believe I have 7 remaining. Um,
All I'm gonna say is that is slightly higher than the number of sessions we have remaining in this campaign.
yeah, that makes sense.
So you could
If I
kind of just be like, save them for the future, or in that one big session, you're just like, all right, and fire crystal, and fire crystal, and fire crystal.
Yeah, it'll be like fighting against one of them little PK firebuds.
So this
PK.
motor can power either auto or Jane's crossbow or the outboard motors.
Yeah.
So we can get Auto, Jane's crossbow, and Go Fastinator going at the same time.
Oh, I spent all my money refilling the fire crystals actually last session, so I now have 9 fire crystals.
So you could use the same justification, being
Yep.
like by the end of the campaign, like I still have 3 fire crystals. I can go shopping later.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So if there's anything else, I'm trying to remember. You repainted. You got the outboard motor,
Yep.
and you got the gig. Your first thing that you've been told to do is to report back, and yeah, Croco sent some letters. Did anybody else have any letters to send? Any final errands to do, or do you go ploosh out into the water and start sailing back to wherever you need to go?
I mean, I would like to check my mail. I don't think we did that.
So the thing is, yes and no. You totally did. When you did, you got a massive pile full of things being like, "Excuse me, I am trying to find your munitions," all like misspelled and redirected to the wrong spot. And you did read them. And by the time this session starts, a new pile has been slapped onto your desk.
Everyone
Oh, boy.
really wants the Canonier and Son munitions.
They really want them.
Well, the thing is, you go out there, you sell these, and then you just disappear.
Yeah.
And then people go back and they buy a shotgun shell and they go,
Oh, damn. It's just
Yeah,
not the same.
Yeah, not the same. You gotta save them for when you really need them.
Like the one dude bought that box of like howler bullets that you had, like the screeching bullets, and
Yeah.
just like fired at a bunch of people, and they were like, "Eh," and he's like, "Oh, that's good. Oh, that's real good."
And now he's out of them.
And now he's out of them, and every single time he fires a shot now, it's just not the same. It goes blammo, and then he's just like, "But there's no screaming."
and I guarantee like 60% of that box was used for just like, hey, check out the thing I bought.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on him for not buying a lifetime supply.
Yeah.
I think, and not on me for not making it. Well,
Bilgewater slowly shifts back out into sea. It's the early morning up in Boat Town. It's winter, but here, like near the fog crack, it's still pretty warm. There's a lot of condensation and fog around here. You can like go out into the day and like wick droplets off of all the surfaces out in the open. Feels damp. What are you doing? Where are you going? And what's the situation?
yeah, that's right. Where are we going?
Excellent question.
Excellent question.
Do I need to go to the island, or like?
Yeah, did you accept the job?
I did, yeah. I'd say so. I think the crew accepted.
Then it's time to check in.
I'm going to the island.
Do you remember where it is?
It was down south. Definitely down south. I remember it was somewhere near the crack. I want to say somewhere in, like, this general vicinity.
Almost. It's not quite that
Like,
far.
Is it not
It's
quite that far?
just it's just at the bottom of the stormy sea.
Oh, okay. So it's like right around here.
Yeah.
Okay. There.
In that case, it's the early morning. What are we doing? The wind is moving.
Well,
The wind is moving well. The wind is moving to the southwest.
Okay. We can move
like a
south a
We
little
want to
bandit
bit.
go
out on the
southeast,
loop.
don't we?
Yeah. We'd want to go southeast because we need to sort of hook around the Freedlands.
Right. Well, I guess I might as well make more bullets. So
Everyone's demanding the Canonier and Sun munitions.
Yeah, the Canonier and Sun munitions.
All right, you slowly start making your way down below decks, and you start manufacturing bullets. But what kind of bullets?
Bullet. I'm gonna make more of those whistling bullets because they're fun.
What's the branding like on this? I assume that there's a basic amount that's just you make these in paper and you have to label them so you don't forget what they are.
Yeah.
Are these like no name brand? Like it's just paper and it says Kennedy and Sons whistling bullet in default script? Or are these like elaborately painted?
I feel like Kananye drew like a big cartoon cloud with the big bulging cheeks going like really aggressively, and that's what's on each case.
So do you make it each time? Like you replicate it?
Yeah. It's a pretty simple little cloud going ooh.
All right. So you're getting started on a new case of whistling bullets. Which way did you guys say you were going? Southeast?
Southeast, yes.
With the way your sails are set up, you're still able to catch a decent bit of the wind. Heading southeast, you go 3.5 squares.
Nice.
Jane and Croquill, what are both of you doing?
Yeah. I
Probably both things. I don't do any crafting or anything like that.
Both things.
So what sort of boat things are you doing? Are you on the sails? Are you like swabbing the deck? Are you skippering the ship?
Sails.
I mean, this is sort of your first time out as captain.
I guess so. Technically captain.
Technically captain.
Technically.
As it happens, sitting by the sails and minding them is the best position for like standing around and gazing out onto the ship and then doing something every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
When you're sitting at the wheel, you actually have to hold it and sit there. And usually when you're swabbing, you're the one getting yelled at. So you sit there and adjust the sails, you get them in the right position. Who is on the wheel?
I'm gonna say Bilgy.
Yeah, Bilgy.
He gives a bit of a sniff, scratches the side of his face, continues to adjust. Kennedy is down below, working on some kind of... It might be maintenance, it might be an upgrade, it might just be a pathological need to add more gears to this machine, but Kennedy is in another one of his moods again, making things for the apparatus.
One of them apparatus moves.
I'm fully imagining that Canonier is somehow rigging the apparatus to be like a microwave and also a oven and also more guns.
Yeah. Well, a microwave's just a gun what shoots little bits of radiation at food.
Yeah. Maybe even setting up like an auto munition factory kind of thing
Oh,
out of the
Yeah, maybe we can-
apparatus.
maybe we can teach Otto to make war products, not war.
Yeah, because an AI having access to the manufacturing of weapons can never go wrong.
No. Well, he has
Ever.
access to weapon right now.
Yeah, but he doesn't have access to more weapon. Once he runs out, he's out.
Hey Otto, how long would it take you to run completely out of munitions from where you're loaded right now?
Continuous fire or the
Continuous
usual?
fire. Continuous fire. Yeah.
Well, continuous fire, 1 minute 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But average load, 2.5 weeks.
Not bad, not bad.
Yeah. See? Just gotta avoid him for 2.5 weeks.
It's like raising a teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like go up on deck and Otto just starts shooting at you. He's like, oh, he's in one of those moods
He's
again.
in one of those moods.
Get out of my room, Mom.
Oh,
I'm
man.
doing canon things.
I'm doing canon things. That's not what it looks like, I swear. Just doing normal maintenance.
The thing is, every kind of normal maintenance that Otto could do would look suspicious.
Yeah.
He's a cannon. He's basically just a big phallic object.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
really is.
But he has 2 cannons.
Ooh.
Oh, beat that weird guy on Reddit that turned out to be a liar using Photoshop images from a French artist.
Huh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yep.
Yep.
I guess he only had one dick after all.
Yep.
Himself.
Oh, Will! Oh, that was... Oh!
That was deep.
Oh, that was great. That was
All right.
very good.
Commendations for that. Yep. Good.
Yep,
Good job.
yep.
Good job.
The wind shifts
got it.
northward.
Well, we're still heading southeast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you stay determined. You know that the crack is east of you, and you want to keep a nice gap away from that. Not only that, but you're starting to join up with the freeway, which is where a lot of merchant ships are going. Some of them are just roaring going the other way. You, however, not so much. You make it a generous 2 squares. By now it's getting close to noon. What's everybody up to?
I'm still crafting. A gun.
How much have you got so far?
That is another 28 coppers. For a total of 56 coppers.
Okay, what does that come out to in terms of individual bullets, and how many are in a case?
I feel like a 1 gold case is what I sold to the other guy, which is probably like if it's a silver bullet's a bit much. Like a copper a bullet would be basically just 50 bullets, you know. I'll say 2 coppers a bullet, so he's got like 25 bullets made.
Okay. So, and I believe we've mentioned this before, your usual modus operandi is like serial. Like, if you're whatever portion done, you haven't made this many bullets, you've made this many like bullet bottoms, and then
Yeah.
you do the casing. And so
Yeah.
where are you in terms of this batch?
Honestly, I'm like halfway done. I probably got everything filed and ready, and now it's just the laborious process of packing them with powder and...
Okay, so you're at the point where you have like the case there, you have all the bottoms, you have all the papers that you've rolled and like stacked with the bottoms, so now these are all individual casings.
Yep.
You have your powder measured out in individual like little weigh batches.
Oh no,
You have all
I got to
the
do the
things.
powder still. Powder's next step.
Ah, okay.
Weighing powder, that's the fun part.
Do you do it like as you're assembling the bullet as the last step before you insert?
Yeah.
All right. So you've got all that set up, and in the last section, you've got what do you use to weigh your powder?
You know what?
Or
No
do you
one's.
do it by volume?
I feel like Sun definitely does it by weight. Um, and he definitely is not somebody that just eyeballs it. He has a tiny little scale set up, and he has manufactured the exact amount of weight that he. Like, it's not. How do I put it? It's just, like he hangs it. It's like he can configure this to weigh out exactly, I don't know, 5 ounces every single time. And he's got that set up. And he's going to weigh
So,
out
how does a
everything like
scale how does a scale work on a boat?
that. Yeah, that's a great question. Because normally scales are like, whoa, it's level or it's not level. This is just straight up like, it's got a pulley system, Will. You know, I
Okay.
pour in just the amount that it takes to fill up the little cup, and then I make sure that it's the right weight by hooking it up to the pulley. And if it go up, it's perfect. If you go down, too heavy.
Describe this pulley system. I'm trying to get it in my head.
Oh, okay. So you got a pulley, and I got a weight on one end, and I got a little cup that I fill up with gunpowder on the other end. And the cup is usually right by volume, but just to double check, I hook it up to a pulley and wait to see which side is heavier.
Okay, so you have like a standard size, you like affix a weight, and so
Yeah,
independent of how much the ship is bucking or
yeah,
moving,
yeah,
just like you add it until it starts to go click, 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 click like that.
yeah.
All right, interesting. Very interesting.
Wait,
I
hang
normally,
on.
just to be clear, to anybody else, I wouldn't be an asshole like this. This is just because I know Gabe has an answer.
Yeah. See, now I'm thinking if you had a ratchet in there, the speed at which those clicks happened would tell you how much it weighs.
That's something that Ken and Ye probably would have built to add on as like a present once.
Yeah.
So there is like a Ken and Ye mechanism that you hear go off, and it's like it's made to make different clicks like a timer, so it does it by fives, like click, 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 like that.
Yeah. I just, it's more art than science sometimes when you're on a boat.
Man,
As lunch,
Kanye is so nice.
It's so nice to me.
as
Birthday present.
lunchtime,
And I didn't even know that he had a wife.
I thought they were just hanging out.
Yeah.
They were just good, but
Hey, who's this broad always in my workshop?
I could have swore they were just roommates, you know?
I could have sworn they were roommates.
And
Don't
they were
worry,
roommates.
history will swoop in and
Yeah.
the historians will correct that.
It's one of those rare moments that the roommate accident happens for a straight couple.
Yeah.
Look, you can't
What do you
just
mean they're
assume.
straight, Will? You mean there's nothing gay or trans about this? They're just, They're just- you know, the H word. Hitch. I don't want to say it on Twitch in case I get.
Hitched?
Yeah, they're hitched.
Yeah, hitched arosexual. Those.
Heterosexual.
Mhm.
Man. So which one of you has commitment issues in the relationship?
What the hell was I talking about before this got weird?
Who knows?
Who
Who
knows?
knows? With us, it could have been anything.
Yeah.
Literally anything. Now I remember. I think it's funnier to not tell you.
The wind starts to shift as you're following the merchants in the freeway as like here it starts to fan off. There's like the north way, which is separate, that goes the other way up towards like Venkrum. You're looking to get through the stormy sea where the trade routes kind of like fall apart. Currently, though, seasonally, there's a very strong wind coming from the fog cloud around the crack and going down into the stormy sea, and a lot of the sails are starting to very quickly, like, as the freeway moves onward, all these ships, you can see the ships that come have to adjust as they leave this wind, and the ones coming in all start to adjust their sails in sequence, getting closer and closer. Just in time with the ship ahead of you, you're able to adjust your sails as there's a strong southward push.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where are you headed?
South.
South.
South-ish, southeast-ish.
Let's go south, and if we can, we'll just dip a little bit.
We're going south.
Right, so that's...
LaSalle.
But what if we get 5 squares and then run directly into that island?
Well, luckily you get 3.
Ooh.
The wind starts to get choppy. You're kind of riding the edge, and there's a few times where the sails kind of get drastic. You have to call boom and make sure that they don't swing around on you as you get like loose of the wind channel. You see like the island that's off to... Now I have to do the test for myself. Port starboard. To the port side, to the right, you can see an island, and ahead of you, you can see like the mainland starting to come up. There's a point here. You've seen it before. You've passed by it a couple of times. There's a couple of sailing ships, a couple of fishing ships. No matter what, you're going to have to go east or southeast to get out of the way of this. By now, it's getting close to the early afternoon. The sun is starting to get a bit lower in the sky from like its high position, but it's still very bright. The wind is still going strong. What is everybody up to? And what's everybody thinking about?
I feel like Croquill is up in the nest doing Croquill things. And really just sort of savoring this. The travel, the everything. Sort
Jane
of happy to get another chance.
Jane is thinking, how much damage could we do in a short amount of time to any port that we went into? Like, if we were to go into a port, be like, let's do as much damage as physically possible.
Yeah.
How much damage could we do?
Depends how much time you have to prepare. Well,
Yeah.
depends how much time Sun has to prepare.
Right.
Mhm.
Yes. It also depends if you can convince me that this isn't illegal,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which, as we've established, is maybe the lowest bar to clear.
I heard one time the entire town gathered to kick a puppy. All right, let's do this.
Well, I don't know about no puppy kickers. Yeah.
The funniest thing about Gabe constantly being like, we're not committing a crime, are we? Is me remembering the one time that you, like, brutally strangled a cop. You were like, he was being rough. He was being unreasonable. Now there are no witnesses.
Yeah. Listen, I if he had been a nicer man, he would have lived.
Like, it wasn't even the usual pachoo, pachoo, we fire the cannons that we do, like, on the stream. Like, it was like, he struggled. His hands were, like, in your face.
Yeah.
And of
I
all
was trying
people,
to-
Sun's the one to be like, no crimes.
No crime.
Yeah. Yeah. But now, to be fair, I wasn't trying to kill him. Just get him to, you know,
Stop moving.
stop moving for a little bit.
Just a tiny bit, you know?
Just,
Well-
hey, he was fine afterwards, I think.
There's a
Oh,
way to
Not
interpret
that we
that
checked.
sentence where he did stop for a little bit.
yeah.
He just kept stopping after the
Well,
little bit.
and that's not my fault. I thought that he was a little more resilient than that. I thought they trained him better. Like, hold your breath. Yeesh.
And as the me and the boys faded from his eyes.
Memories of shirtless beach volleyball and training camp.
Yeah.
Blonde boys in the tub.
So you're on the edge of this like wind channel, and where it hits this bay, it starts to go funky. Initially, it goes right north, and then it quickly shifts right as you're starting to adjust the sails to go directly westward.
Oh, come
Where you
on.
headed?
Southeast.
You struggle with a narrowish angle, trying to catch as much wind as you can around the point. You circumnavigate it easily enough. It's a thinner angle than you would have liked, but you're able to make it with the wind fairly quickly. You make it 1.5 squares to the southeast.
Nice.
By now, it's the late afternoon. It's still bright out, but the sun's getting a bit lower still. It's almost dinner. You've been traveling for a big part of the day. How's the progress on the guns or the bullets for Sun?
Well, let me just do another roll here. Oh, and that one's going to be a nice even 30. Bringing us up to 86 copper, which is fun because that's what you say when you run out of food in a restaurant. So that's a good number to get to, I guess. One more good push ought to do it, and then I'll have a nice box of 50 to sell to some cool dude.
Is that what it is? Is the code 86? You go back into the front and you're like, hey, 86. We don't have Borgar.
Yeah, you say 86 the burger.
See, maybe this is because I didn't actually work a restaurant. I only ever worked fast food. But the way that we did it was you go up behind someone, you whisper in their ear, hey, stop selling fucking hot dogs.
Caress their chest gently as you leave. Yeah.
We're out of weenie bobinis.
We're out of weenie bobinis, banana fofinis. No, yeah, 86. It's all the diner
I do want to
slang.
say I regret leaning so close to the mic for weenie bobinis. That was more
I
sensual
don't.
than it should have been.
I don't. That was great.
That was pretty good.
Oh, now we get to play a fun game that I like to call going on the Wikipedia page for diner slang. 86 is the first one there.
Naturally.
Okay.
Naturally.
So, what do you think if someone orders bad breath? What do you think they want on their sandwich?
A lot of garlic, a lot of onions.
And onions?
Onions? Yeah, okay, that's onions.
Okay.
If someone says they want some blowout batches,
This entire list sounds like
Extra spicy.
Tabasco sauce? Yeah.
no, that's really good. It's a food item. It's not like an additional thing.
I feel like this list is compiled by a specific type of customer that every time they come in, everybody on staff goes, okay, get your phones out under the table. Let's find out what the fuck they're talking about. Why can't you
Yeah.
just say there's garlic on it?
So he says he wants blowout batches. He's ordering pancakes, actually.
What?
Blowout batches.
I
Pancake.
I really
like
want to
this-
hear how that came to be.
Yeah.
This has to come from a time in the restaurant industry where you had a kitchen and you could make people stuff because you had time.
Yeah.
And not from a time in the restaurant industry where you're like, look, we have a standardized 12-item menu and we
Yep.
have 6 seasonal items that swap out.
Yep.
Stop asking us to bubble bass your fucking burger.
No,
no,
we don't have any more Tim Biebs.
If somebody asks for some cackleberries,
I saw
he's-
someone actually. I think I was watching like binging with Babish. He does like the bubble bass sandwich, and some of the things the
Yeah.
guy requests are like asking for gravy. How many restaurants
Yeah.
have gravy that aren't going to be like that's a separate item? That's
Right?
$2,
right?
and he wants it on Texas toast.
He does.
That's a different bread type.
Yes. You can't
I
do
don't-
that.
Maybe this is from a Canadian's perspective. Maybe like you go down south and everyone's like, no, we have the thick bread, but like that's not a standard toast type.
No.
You might be able to blindly go, could I get that on whole wheat? And then if they say no, you go, oh, okay, that's fine. But like, that is such a specific bread request.
That's like asking, like,
Yeah.
can I get that on a baguette?
Yeah.
It's like, who the
See-
fuck just keeps her on a baguette? Unless, like, we specifically stock it as part of our bread dish.
Gordon Ramsay probably.
Gordon Ramsay
Probably.
probably keeps a baguette.
Gordon Ramsay would probably yell at you if you didn't have the Texas toast.
He would.
Gordon Ramsay is Bubble Bass, but he's behind the counter.
Oh, now I don't know if this one's racist or not. So Irish
Should we?
cherries refers to carrots.
Okay, it's white people racism. It's not like
Yeah.
racism.
The only other one that I wanna bring out here is that they think that with the works is diner slang. Like they have with the works right alongside shingles with a shimmy and a shake.
I feel
Which
like
is-
the works is the only thing that the average server is going to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although
They
one
made an
time it
entire
did-
burger place about it, and you know what? I
I
really
did
like
one
the
time.
works.
I did one time have an opportunity where they had additional things you could add onto your potato strips. And so I asked for potato strips with the works, and then they didn't put anything on my potato strips. So
I just want to. Is
that's
this
my
is this a
fault.
Is this a Freudian thing? Are you guys saying that I should have another custom tavern?
No, I think that diner Dingolingo is funny.
Dingoling.
Yeah.
Well, the wind is going... not that way. Definitely not that way.
Please say west.
Not that way either.
Please say it was going west.
Well, I just described a weather pattern, and then several of these rolls are directly against the weather pattern, and it's like, I said there was a weather pattern. I can accept this. This is actually fine. You're being sucked into the kind of funnel that leads into the stormy sea. The stormy sea is turbulent, and then on the way out, there's a funnel that goes the same way that you're going to be opposed by, that comes from the southern crack.
Okay.
So currently the wind is going directly eastward.
Alright. We need to head eastward or potentially southeastward.
Mm-hmm.
Although I think if we head southeastward, we're going to hit land, so maybe we just head east.
All right. Just like out into the water, try and get some distance from the shore.
Yeah.
All right. It's getting late, it's getting a bit darker, and you're sailing off into the storm. You make it. Shift that. Yeah, so that would be 3.5 squares. So like 3.5 to 4 squares to the east.
Okay.
You can take a bit of a southern kind of tilt if you want to get further into the map space.
Yeah, there we go. Let's go like there. So yeah, there was this like tip there that I was like, I think that's a thing.
Europeans when they come to America.
Still on that diner thing, huh?
Yeah.
I thought that was a penis joke. Was that not a penis joke?
No, like when you tip a waiter.
Oh.
Not every one of Gabe and I's jokes are penis jokes, okay?
I just thought we were having... I thought we were talking about foreskins. I apologize.
Always with you what cannot be snipped off.
God, can you imagine, like, a confused European just goes into an American restaurant and then just, like, leaves behind some foreskin? God, that would be embarrassing.
Yeah, so embarrassing. Let's think about that for a long time now, fellas.
I'm stuck between, do I add to the joke by talking about the actual factual reality of my penis, or do I specifically not mention my dick?
I think we go with the second option on that one.
I think so
that's
too.
A good option, yeah.
I wanted to at least broach the elephant in the room, my penis. I
appreciate the fact that you have it.
You can't. You gotta cut it off, because otherwise I'll have to chime in, and then Cadwell and poor Chelsea will be left out in the lurch.
I don't.
Well,
you're
it's
right.
really a crapshoot. You never know. You might have someone being like, "Well, I don't have a penis," or you might have someone being like, "Well, I have 12
in my basement, in the freezer."
What?
We keep different things in the basement.
You guys have basements? I have to keep it on the shelf in front of my dining room table, just in jars.
Yeah, jars of formaldehyde.
Anymore.
Yeah, let's sail away from the penis mutilation.
Wow, fucking Friedlands, they do some freaky shit.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, let's be real. That would be more of a West March thing.
Yeah.
They have a restaurant called Jamba Juice out there.
Yeah, and they involve a priest. And are you getting your circumcisions in the Jamba Juice?
I don't like this.
The wind is going southwest or southeast. It's It's going into the middle of the fucking channel. That's the point.
I just want to put up a massive fucking bit of text that just says the most cursed tabletop stream we've had.
It probably is with the flesh theme park and the...
Yeah.
Here's the thing you gotta understand. Now me, I run a couple games a week, and GMing is a bit more than playing in terms of like work investment. Not that there's anything wrong with playing. It's different desired styles of play.
Yeah.
I do not want to be a player, you know?
Yeah.
And 2 different games, neither of which was running over the new year. And I imagine everybody else was not doing other things or streaming through most of the new year. So we're all coming back here with like several weeks of pent up penis.
Yeah. I wish there was another word you could have picked, but your hands were tied.
Well, the thing is, if you say penis, you know it's a joke. If you say vagina, it sounds like you're about to like do something creepy.
Huh.
Like, vagina sounds like you're about to be like, hey.
Oh, no.
Say no more.
Anyway, so the wind's
We're
fucking
heading
leaving
south.
this conversation.
We're heading south. Get us as far away from this conversation as possible.
The wind is going southeast into the middle of the channel.
Okay, do you want to head towards the middle of the channel then?
I guess so, yeah.
Alright.
Yes, that makes sense.
Now, last time we were here, there were pirates. So let's see if they're still going to try and challenge us.
Round 2, buckaroo.
Oh god, got the hiccups now. Fuck.
Sorry, I'm rolling dice. I do want to acknowledge that round 2 buckaroo is a good line.
Oh,
Good
thanks.
line.
Thanks.
Yep.
It's so rare that I have one that is good and not sort of just the word penis.
So you make it 4.5 squares to the southeast. About halfway through, you start to hit the seas, and you're able to kind of alter your trajectory one way as there's a cloud going in, another one moving out. It alters in the other direction, and then you've got just enough of a narrowing of the gap where you're going to have to hit rain, and you have to take down the gentler sail.
Oh.
You can see the distant coast, and you know that you're close to Westmarch. You're a bit closer to there than Newtown. You think you see one of their ships patrolling.
We just took the job. We're technically not allowed to piss off any government entity.
Yeah, okay.
I say that technically because, like, I don't know what you guys are going to do out in the open ocean.
Well, we wouldn't want our... It's confusing who we work for right now.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't want to make them mad.
It's funny that you say it's confusing who we work for, because I feel like this is the one time where it's not been ambiguous.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean it's kind of just Crowquill / the Rookery? What do you mean we have one employer now?
That's weird.
It's so strange not to have, like, you know, a bunch of smuggling operations going on while also producing weapons, but also, like, ferrying people across the water and working for the Rookery at the same time.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to roll... Does somebody on the team want to roll odds or evens?
Oh, I do. I got him. Evens, because obviously, and that is a 6, because I'm basically the best.
Looking off in the distance, you can see that there's a... It looks like a storm cloud, and you think you see rain, but it shimmers in a way that rain shouldn't. And right in the middle, at full sail, you can see a ship sailing past. It's very thin, it's very tapered, it's got triangular sails.
Fancy ship.
Fancy ship?
Maybe
Or...
it's the ghost ship.
The ghost ship got an upgrade.
Yeah. Most ghost ships are dog shit, but this one, pretty cool.
That was in the previous campaign, right? Like, we don't
Yeah.
know about the ghost ship?
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I feel
we are
like-
ignorant.
Well,
I feel like
Eh, not-
Bilgy knows the ghost ship. If anyone on this ship knows about the ghost ship, it has to be Bilgy. Hands down.
Honestly, Ghost Ship is like, if there's like a nautical lore iceberg, which please don't ask for it. 90% of that I have not come up with because nobody has asked, so why bother? But like, Ghost Ship is high.
Yeah.
I feel like Ghost Ship, Sea Demon, they're all pretty
Mhm.
high up on that.
What's the difference? You know?
Yeah.
What is the deal with ghost ships?
They're ghosts and their ships. What's the deal with that?
Huh. Waka waka. Me Seinfeld, and this is one of my good jokes.
Rooker comes up with like a couple bowls of stockfish stew, and he's like, "What are you talking about?"
Ghost ship.
Ghost ship, ship out there full of ghosts.
Oh, which one?
Oh, the one that's like got dead folks on it.
I like the story of the Street Mary.
What is that?
The big long ship called Street Mary. I don't know why they call a ship after a street, but I don't know. I don't know why we're the Bilgewater. A whole bunch of rich people, and they're going across the stormy sea. They say they can't sink, and then they get it there, but it's different rich people.
What? That don't make no sense.
They never found the people who left, and they have no idea where the people who survived came from.
Well, where did the
Very
people who survived
mysterious.
go?
Their destination, Newtown.
They just let them get off.
They had shit to do.
But they were different rich folks. Like where did they come from?
The sea? Who knows? Big mystery. Anyways, are we still going? Or are we stopping for the night?
I don't know. That
I never know with you guys.
that
Sometimes
seems a
we're
little-
in a rush, sometimes we're not in a rush, sometimes we just sail a lot because we like the boat.
Well, no, hang on.
I mean, all those are really true. We're not really in a rush.
I have a lot of logistical complaints about the story you just shared.
Don't ask me, ask the
And-
goats.
You have a lot of logistical complaints, yet you're discussing ghost ships.
Well, what's your point?
How does a ship sail if it's a ghost?
It doesn't either. It's a ship piloted by ghosts, in which case it's subject to the normal forces of nature, or it's an apparition, in which case it's not. That part makes sense, but you got a whole bunch of folks.
But is the boat alive?
No, it's no. I mean,
Like, even if
I
the
mean-
Bilgewater's kind of alive, I don't think the Bilgewater's the kind of alive that turns into a ghost.
Technically, you
No.
could say that the Bilgewater is an apparition.
I would describe it as an apparatus.
no. The apparatus is something that has been built, sort of using the Bilgewater as a frame. No, hang on. If there are people,
You hear the clink of the title of the ship switching.
what was it now?
Check what it says.
It says SSIM become Bilgewater.
Well, that's probably not good.
Nice.
As long as it's not the SS Theseus, I think we're good. Not Theseus. Fuck.
No. Well, I mean, yeah.
Which one is the one where the ship is not a ship anymore? It's not the same ship?
No, you're
It's
not
right.
Theseus.
It's the ship of Theseus.
Oh, okay.
I think it was Theseus's ship.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, never mind. I was also... Because Theseus is also the one who slayed the Minotaur.
Yeah.
So I was getting my mythology confused there for a moment.
Yeah.
Otto chimes in and goes, "Well, we don't have to worry about it. We've only lost 10% of ship wood mass, so we're basically the original ship."
Right. No, but so if a whole bunch of folks just suddenly appeared, how do they have shit to do when they didn't even exist until the ship did? I think.
Well, I mean, if you suddenly popped into existence, I imagine you'd be pretty hungry.
I believe it's a philosophical construct to argue that there's a central idea of what a ship represents as an abstract that we all accept, that a ship is composed of individual planks, but we decide that
Right,
you know.
but right. It's sort of like a conundrum that it doesn't. The name on the deed still says Theseus though, so it's still his ship.
Yar, I believe we have legally and socially constructed the being that is the Bilgewater.
Right, but it's also made of wood. If we were to place all the planks and then throw out the planks, I guess we threw out a lot of good wood.
Yeah, that would have been a lot of good
If
wood
we-
wasted. We just painted the wood too.
Exactly.
Kennedy chimes in and he goes, well, if we take out all the boards and replace all the boards, that's a lot of work. Probably pretty
Yeah.
expensive.
No, I don't really understand why we would do that. It seems like sort of a problem that wouldn't ever arise. Like we wouldn't do that to ourselves generally.
The conversation slowly peters out as you're all choking down a bit of fish stew. It's
Gross.
currently the evening past dinner. Are you going to keep sailing, or are you going to try to get closer to the coast to anchor down?
Probably get nice and coast close. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We're not in a rush. Might as well.
I mean, we're in a pretty stormy area, so we might want to get a little bit closer to shore, so that we're a little bit outside of the stormy area.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
You're able to drift within the square. Is that close enough, or do you want to keep sailing?
Yeah, it's fine. That's probably enough.
You find a spot where you're close enough to the shore, you can see it, your anchor catches, and you're able to take down the sails and just kind of move with where the wind and water knock you about. Slowly, you all head off to bed. Is anybody keeping watch?
Near Westwatch, I'm definitely keeping watch. I'm probably just staying up a little bit later, but I don't trust Westwatch at all.
I'll also keep watch.
Not me. I'm going to bed, suckers. Otto can keep watch for me.
Alright, so who's on first?
Me.
Second?
I'll be on second watch.
Third?
Otto.
And fourth?
Otto. He doesn't sleep.
Technically, whoever's on watch is also on watch with Otto.
Yeah. Otto doesn't sleep, and he's always eager for a chance to blow somebody to Kingdom Come. So it's kind of a 2-for-1 there.
Alright. Son, at first, it's one of those things where, when you wake up and you do something and then you forget you woke up?
Yeah.
And so when you wake up in the morning, it's as if you slept through the night?
Yep.
One of those things happens. You get an alert from Otto that you're experiencing some higher than normal wave action.
Yeah.
You check the angle, you check the readings. It's within normal parameters. You ask for, let me know if it gets worse, but it doesn't. Close to morning, though, you get a beeping from Otto.
Oh.
It's a proximity warning.
Oh. All right. Who's there? Let me get up my spyglass that I don't own and kind of squinting.
So
Do you
just
look
like,
through
let me give out my spyglass. Ah, yes.
So you roll out of your bunk. How do you check? Do you go out above decks? Do you look through a porthole?
Yeah, I would probably go up above decks just to give it a real thorough, taking it seriously. That is my boy that warned me. He wouldn't do that if it weren't serious.
All right, odds or evens?
Evens. I'm gonna roll an evens. That's a 1. Oh, I'm the worst person alive.
You
Wow,
get
that
up there and
fluctuated quickly.
you get up there and you aren't blinded per se by a searchlight. This is a mundane like reflection searchlight. So there's someone who has a candle or a witch light or something, and then like a hammered steel bowl to try and focus it.
Mm.
It's not quite so bright that like you would have to wince and look away, but you can't identify what's going on per se.
Oh,
There's a
all
ship
right.
that's slowly drifting past.
Oh. Hello.
You don't get a response as the ship slowly sails off.
Uh. Is there any like people on the deck?
On your ship?
No, no, on that ship.
You can't tell because they're still pointing the searchlight at you.
Well, that's probably not ideal. Yeah,
Ghost ship.
they're just sailing past us, eh?
As they move a bit further away, they move the searchlight out because they've seen all they need to see and now they're just like checking the waters. In that brief moment, you have to blink because it goes like right in your eye for a second, a flash, and then when you open your eyes again, you can see the silhouettes of a couple of people transiently. The ship is. You don't have the time to count, but you think it has two masts, and
All right.
it's got a skeleton crew.
Literally?
Right, this is a fantasy game. I should clarify, not literally.
We were literally just talking about ghost stories, and you're like, it's a skeleton crew, and we're all just like, go on.
Dude,
Quiet
okay.
xylophone music, getting a bit more excited.
Well, they're just moving on. They don't.
Are they spooky scary?
They're not even doing anything. Like,
Oh, Sun
Okay.
doesn't seem very spooked or scared.
I don't really care that they're doing this, but like,
But
I
you're
just want to make
awoken.
sure that they're okay.
You're awoken for the last watch, so like you couldn't get back to sleep if you tried. You would sleep for like 15 minutes and then get woken up before you passed out.
Yeah.
It's dawn now. Everybody's up.
Well, that was weird. Hey, do you guys see like a boat or something?
I mean, there was a boat before we went to sleep in the rain.
Hmm.
That's why I
Yeah.
mentioned the ghost ship because it looked weird.
Oh yeah, I remember that now. No, this was like a weird sort of I don't know, they had some sort of, searchlight out and he was shining it in my eyes and whatnot.
Rude.
Yeah, they had. Did I catch what kind of? They had two masts.
Mhm.
So, but it didn't look like one of them, Imperial or ships. What we have to blow up. So,
It was too dark to tell. If it was, you wouldn't have been able to discern it at the time.
okay. Well, yeah. So, probably nothing. Probably just some, local authorities.
You
pushing
hear
their
like
weight around.
you hear a clunking noise as Otto like swivels back to below decks and goes, "If only someone would refill my printer paper."
Yeah, well, I don't have any paper on hand.
As soon as we refill the printer paper, out of toner.
Yeah, listen, I'll get you your paper. Just you wait. But I couldn't find any last time I was in town, and you burn through it so fast. That stuff's expensive.
Well, I'm a computer. Don't blame me.
You know what?
I'm the
Fair
computer.
enough.
Gotta love me.
You're the computer. Got it. Yeah.
No one ever said that.
That's true.
No, that is part of the. That is actually in my contract that I signed there.
You
do
signed a
have to-
contract with an artificial intelligence?
No,
This
I
seems
signed a
like different
contract
one.
with you.
Oh.
That was one of the clauses that I added in.
Oh, so you modified the contract. Well,
yeah, no, I did.
rough. All right. Well, we'll have to talk to the rookery once we get there.
Right.
So, Rooker is at the edge of the kitchen. You could see he's got like a little pocket knife, and he's getting the. It wouldn't be accurate to say he's getting the crud out from under his nails because there isn't really any crud, but he's like, making sure to clean them out before like washing his hands.
Yeah, he's. There is no crud because he does this often.
Little breakfast or big breakfast?
Oh, You know, I'm feeling just a little, you know.
Big breakfast. I'm starving.
Big breakfast, big day. Let's go see that island.
Yeah.
Okay, what do I make? Pancake. Various forms of breakfast potato.
Oh, sorry, you mean blowout batches? Think you might.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll get a blow up batch with the works.
Oh, do you want that Newtown style with the Westwatch sauce? Maybe with the white that be shimmering. Red wine and dine it,
Red wine and dine it.
Give it a bit of a stormy sea shake.
Yes.
We've been outdone. This man knows more weird food terms than we do.
The secret is making up nonsense that doesn't exist.
Well, no, hey, you can't do that. That's unconstitutional.
What is this? Some sort of fantasy game? You can't make up shit.
Come on, get your head out of the clouds here, Rooker.
I want to be like, someone should make a wiki, but then I remembered that I made the wiki, and then I remembered that I didn't maintain the wiki, and I don't want to maintain the wiki.
No one wants to maintain the wiki.
There's going to be a wiki person someday.
Yeah, and they'll maintain it. And we
They'll
won't pay
maintain
them.
it.
We won't pay them. They'll be like an unpaid intern.
Yeah.
That's what an audience is for.
Yeah.
We just need to monetize Salajol.
Yikes! That feels like that's icky. Please don't say this.
Can we turn him into an NFT in some way?
No.
I feel like that's the definition of like being corrupted by the smallest possible power available.
Yeah. No.
Especially because all Salajol has to say is be like,
Nah.
so which video am I disliking?
Yeah.
Not that dislikes exist, but
Yeah.
Hey, it's wild that they got rid of him.
They didn't really get rid of him. They just got rid of the number.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, it gets rid of the ratio. But you can also just get an add-on that gets that back.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I was worried that... I don't know what I was actually worried about. I don't really care that much, but...
It's just one in a long cavalcade, a parade of stupid YouTube decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, of all the things, why that? Why specifically that?
Well, what's for big breakfast? What's everybody having?
I have an egg. A pancake and egg, I think we came up with.
Yeah.
Okay. One pancake, one egg.
One pancake.
A Jane
Pancake, egg, also hash brown.
Mm-hmm.
A Jane cake, I think we call them around these parts. I think you'll find.
Yeah? Why are they called that?
You know what? I offered you a gift and you spat in my face.
Rooker quietly sighs and just starts making up some breakfast as he gets like inconsistent and incomplete orders from people piecemeal. It's like halfway through cracking eggs. He's like, last call for eggs.
Yeah, I want egg.
Yeah, egg.
How egg?
Cooked, but like not all the way, where it's like a little bit not cooked in the middle.
So medium egged.
Medium egg, yeah. I would say medium rare, but that's meat, and yeah, egg ain't meat.
Yeah, I'll get a medium rare egg too.
Okay.
That might be the most
I've
defeated
been cooking with you for months. I should just learn what your order is and deal with it then.
No, I change it every time, just for funsies,
Do you just answer egg whenever I ask you and then see what the
Yeah.
final result is?
Yeah, I didn't. You know what? Until like probably about 2 months ago, I did not notice that you have been cooking different eggs differently. I was like, yeah, that's protein
So,
cooked up.
so do you have notes? Does that make this science or is it mischief?
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't taking notes. You're the one cooking it. I was just like, man, egg. And you say, how do you
Just,
want it cooked? And I'll
just
just say words.
okay. So it's just suffering that I have imposed upon myself
Yeah,
by
yeah,
granting an option which you did not
yeah,
desire.
yeah. No, absolutely, absolutely. The thing is, you got a lot of names for just egg. The sunny side up, and it's an egg. Scrambled is an egg. They're bait like it's just saying. You put them in a pan and they come out.
You don't make a bad point. Eggs are a bit much.
Yeah, it's just an egg.
Yeah, I'll have my egg medium rare.
Like I'd like an egg.
You know, neither of those are applicable answers, but they're good enough. You're given you're given a breakfast which satisfies you 98% of the way, and the 2% isn't missing. It's been deliberately filled with a forlorn regret.
Listen,
The
I
final
really
2% is egg.
Egg. I want to go to a restaurant and order my eggs medium rare to watch them have a conniption. Like, yeah, medium rare.
It's what peasants are for, suffering.
Yeah. Can I go in and ask for eggs cooked? Like, We've kind of invented all the ways to cook. Like, can I ask for an egg spaghettified? Yeah, I like my egg spaghettified.
I feel like what you do is you ask for a ridiculous permutation of egg 3 times, and then the server goes, and gets you scrambled eggs.
That's
Oh,
what
there
I
it
would
is.
get. If someone asked me to spaghettify their eggs, I just go, okay, scrambled. Like, just
Yeah.
instantly.
No.
Nope.
Here's what it is. The waiter asks you how you like your eggs. You tell them deep fried.
Well, what you got to understand is that you're going to give this instruction to your waiter who does not cook the egg.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The waiter has to write this on a piece of paper and impale it on a nail for some... Why do
Yeah.
they do that?
Huh?
It's not going anywhere.
Oh, no.
You could have a small rock.
You don't impale it on the... Okay, what it is in the pizza place at least, you would put it up on a little thing that holds it in front, and then when you were done with it, you take it off and impale it on the nail. And the impaling represents that you're done with that thing, and you never have to look at it again.
Yeah.
You know, I do like the violence. That appeals to me.
The violence is good. And then if a customer gets uppity, you have a weapon on hand.
Yeah.
True.
With the receipts to soak up the blood.
It's so sharp. It doesn't need to be that sharp.
No.
It's paper.
It could be blunt, and it would still have the same effect. It's
it could
paper.
be rounded.
Yeah.
You could just have a butt plug.
Yes. And that's funny, because when I think of a butt plug, I think of it being sharp. But it's not, because that would be bad. But it has to be sort of sharp.
It has
Has
to
to be
have.
tapered.
It has to come to a point.
It has to come
Has
to
to
a
be
point.
fluted. Have to have a flared... Okay, let's stop talking about shoving shit in people's asses. So it's morning. It's the early morning. You've had a bit of breakfast. The wind is shifting to the... What would that be? To the west directly.
Southwest.
All right. You attack with the wind. You got a bit of sea to work with, so you're able to get some of the distance in and ride it for a bit. You make it a slightly generous 3 squares. You can start to see the last couple of villages before Newtown. You know that you're close to there. It's getting close to the late morning. What's everybody up to on the boat?
I gotta finish these bullets. Wake everybody up with a clang, rattle, dang, dong. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll finish off a bullet.
Croakwill is again just enjoying tower time. Crow's nest time.
Yeah.
Like one last sea flight with warbles kind of thing.
Aw.
The ship bobs to and fro. The clouds come and go. You can feel every now and then Like, there's major winds that you need to follow, but the wind has little inconsistencies and turbulences and contradictions. You're feeling those come and go. How's the crate of bullets going?
Crate of Bullets is finished, and I guess I'm starting the next one.
Right? Hammer, 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 slide. That's one crate, 1 gold's worth of whistling bullets. What's the next one?
Next one is more of those, the 2-stage armor piercing rounds.
Jog my memory, because I know there were heavy impact that were meant to not pierce armor, but like give push.
These ones are
They're
pointy.
the whistling.
These ones are pointy, and when it hits something, there's more powder in there that fires it a second time to really drive it through armor. Is it practical? No, but it's fun.
It's already a shotgun shell, so if it does a little extra, that's nice.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've got these things. By the time they come out, the whistling ones, you can see like they've got a bit of a shallow point, and then they've got little flutes that go in. The heavy impact have a plus on the front. I imagine that like armor piercing are just like a pokey bit, like you can't touch the top of the shotgun shell too aggressively or you'll prick your finger.
Yeah.
Alright. As you make your way forward into the late morning, the wind starts to shift again. This time it goes directly southward.
Cool.
You're in the midst of the stormy sea, so you can't use your Genoa sail to get the most of it.
Damn. Well, southbound we go anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. You go south, you follow the coast near Newtown. You can see the city come and go as you move past it. You make it a generous 2 squares. So you make it just past Newtown. You can watch people come and go. You can see the remaining smashers and the ruins of the other ones, slowly being built around. By now, you're getting to the bottom of the stormy sea, slowly. You're still in the midst of it.
Well, were any of these islands the island?
One of them was, yes. Do you remember which one it is?
No. I want to say this one.
You would be correct.
Yeah!
Yeah!
The Isle of Nothing!
Oh.
Alright, at this point, it's getting close to lunchtime. You're still in the midst of the stormy sea, but you're getting to where it starts to buffet against the broader air currents. The wind is mostly moving northward where it meets it, but you're still further north of where that's happening. You can just see the distant forms in the clouds of where that atmospheric interaction is starting to take place. Where you are right this moment, the wind is keeping steady southward. You're kind of chasing in the wake behind a storm cloud. There's a gap that follows it.
You think southeast? I think that would make sense.
Yeah.
All right. As you're heading to the southeast, you're still getting most of this wind, and even without the Genoa sail, you have these rectangular, truncated sails, so you're able to be decently maneuverable. Especially in the stormy sea, it's an advantageous type of sail because it lets you make those tiny corrections. It helps you flute around for 3 squares to the southeast. As you're moving there, you see another ship pass you. It's a 2-master, but it's big, tall, and kind of long and flat. It has the same number of masts as you, but whereas you are a speedy, zippy thing full of extra add-ons and heavy widgets, this thing is broad, flat, and meant to carry cargo. It even has a crane on it. You can see it's got an insignia, a hammer hitting a shield.
Does anyone know what that insignia actually is?
It doesn't jog anyone's memory. It seems like it's for this ship. However, Does anybody have ideas? Does anybody want to do any specific things, or does somebody want to roll odds or evens?
I mean, I'll roll odds or evens, but me identifying an insignia doesn't seem like I should be rolling just a 50-50 on this one.
Oh, I could roll politics.
Well, Croakwill, or not Croakwill, sorry, Warbles is trained to recognize a couple of colors.
True. I feel like Sun rolling politics might probably be a better option, though.
Well, up to you.
Yeah, I don't think that Croakwill would do quite well on this one.
All right.
Politics roll. That's a 9.
9. You don't recognize the insignia. Quickly enough, you go, okay, this is an individual shipping insignia. If I don't know it immediately, I don't know who these people are. So you look up towards the flags. You can see one of them, which looks like a rookery flag. The people on here aren't wearing their uniform out at sea, it looks like. Which, given the amount of time you've spent, you understand. It's nice when you're indoors and it's a nice cozy robe, but out at sea it gets heavy and waterlogged and catches the wind in the wrong ways.
I mean, we're not wearing it, so...
Yeah, we're not wearing ours. What does that tell you about us? You know, maybe we're not as dedicated to this as we think we are.
Are you having second thoughts, Son?
Yeah.
The wind shifts again, eastward now.
Perfect. That's exactly where we need to head.
It's true.
Shifting just ever so slightly north.
You actually have to lighten up on your sails a bit. The gust intensifies and starts to yank you in towards a storm. You lighten and dodge off to the side. You veer northward and intersect with the island just in time. By now, it's getting close to, past lunch into the early afternoon. This island is small enough that with your boat, you can spend, 10-15 minutes circumnavigating it. If you were to land, it would be big enough that you can't see end to end. It has, a central couple of masses. They're these kind of almost columnar limestone structures. You could probably climb them, but it's they have worn out cliff faces on each side, and there's just these winding sections that are passable that you could see based on the vegetation growing.
Yeah.
It's overgrown in a very lush way, but not in a jungle-like way. It's all ferns, low growth, ivies, and stuff like that. Actually, before you note, I'm going to say this. You're approaching an island. It could have a couple of different access points. It could have a pier. It could have nothing at all. You've seen these columnar structures. You know that this is an island at the edge, the southward edge of the stormy sea. I'll be back in a second.
Okay.
If I have to get someone to come out and build a house, that's going to be a massive fucking pain.
Should we circle the island to see if there's
Yeah. I think we
fort?
should definitely circle the island. I would hate to be like, man, this place sucks, and then there's a massive paradise on the other side that we just didn't bother seeing.
Funny.
like a 10-star fucking hotel and resort on a beach?
Yeah, that would be what Croakwill wants to see there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'm not worried. I'm actually a little bit worried about the logistics of living on the island. I'm wondering.
Well, where are you gonna get your food?
Well, Croakwill can make her own food.
Oh.
So
Out of what?
out of the fruit on the land.
Okay.
How do you think she survived living in the forest as a 15-year-old?
I don't know. I thought you had a job.
She lived in the forest, dude.
Work at Walmart or something.
She worked
Yeah.
at Walmart. Yeah. No, Croakwill, the greatest Walmart greeter there ever was.
Yeah, you
Hi,
tell
welcome
him.
to Walmart.
I feel like the funniest part of that is that even if you could tell when people are coming in and out, even if you could hear the doors opening and closing, even if you hear a ding, even if Warbles is helping you, Croakwill's not saying hi to random fucking people.
Yeah.
Not in the slightest. Crowquill got fired from that job within a week.
Goodness.
So yeah, I think we want to give a good circle of the island to really see what we see.
Yeah.
All right. Quickly, as you circle to the one side, you find a pier where there's a ship docked. It's a small ship, single-masted. Its sails are up, except for like its like foresail is very loose. Like one of the ropes that would hold it down is left to just kind of flutter, so it can't catch the wind, but it's there to be visible. This one has an insignia that looks like a feather being carried on the wind. You still have more of the island to survey, so you could loop back to this pier later.
Probably not a bad idea. Let's see what let's get the whole rundown of it.
Maybe there'll still be a beach resort somewhere.
Maybe 5 stars with a bunch of people standing by lounge chairs with palm fronds waiting to fan me all day.
Yeah, it's possible.
You start to crest the southern side. You see a long strand of like white sandy beach. Thin though. It isn't like a deep beach where you could like walk up and down. Like it's very much like you just kind of walk the length and put down a couple towels. You move past like another limestoney crag and you get to another white sand beach that's longer still. This one still isn't very deep. At the edge of this one, there's another crag, and here you can see that there's a couple of rudimentary structures that looks like cages, and you can see some people moving around. They're wearing rookery outfits.
Okay, so there's other people here.
Should we be wearing our rookery outfits?
It's up to you. I mean,
When we dock, we should probably be in our rookery outfits.
yeah, probably get those robes on.
You start to crest the far side and go north again. From here, you follow, like, there's little pockets that technically have a beach, but it's like a square meter of sand and it doesn't look comfortable to get to, and there's like an awkward lunge you'd have to make over jagged looking brush. There's like sections of jungle and just cragginess where you have to keep some space from the island. Might be a good place for a lighthouse, but as long as you know it's there, it's easy to avoid. And a decent sailor knows not to, sail right next to islands at night.
Yeah.
You reach an overhang. Can I get odds and evens from each of you in turn?
Evens. That's a 6, baby.
I rolled odds and I got a 2.
All right.
Evens. I got a 5.
Nice.
Want to trade, Chelsea?
So, Son, you're the first one to notice, and you pointed out just straight up. Because this is limestone, there's a cavern that's been carved away, and in the brief glimmer you get, it looks like you might even be able... You restrain yourself from saying sail a ship into it, because that would be a bad idea even if you could.
Yeah.
But you think you see maybe like a cove or a water cave? Crowquill. It's there and it's gone. You feel like a conical, like, dish effect. There's a whole bunch of like strange algae and substrate that you hear for a moment and then it's gone. Jane, you turn when you hear this cove mentioned, but by the time you see where it is and it's pointed out to you, you can't assess the accessibility. It's certainly sheltered, but it might not even be accessible.
Cool.
Well, what are we doing here again?
You pass a very small beach, and then you're back at the start point where you can see the pier.
We're going into that pier, son.
Okay.
Everyone got their robes on? Let's go make some friends.
Yeah, I got my robe on.
Yeah.
All right. You slowly drift in, lower in your sails, keep them low for a moment, and then let them loose as you just kind of bleed off some of the speed just into the mass of the water. throw over some ropes, make connection, and start to reel yourselves in. People see you coming from far away enough that they can come up and help you dock. A couple of the rookers come. You note that the ones on this side of the island, they aren't wearing their robes, but once the others that have come, like after the couple that are just helping you, like anchor down your ship, they're coming in robes. The few that came to you, you have no idea what they look like. Like it's one of those you pull off Spider-Man's mask, and he's like some random kid from Brooklyn. Like,
Yeah.
you don't know who these people are.
Just a kid.
Yeah.
No older than my son.
Man, I wish when I'm like 45, that's what people say when they look at me.
Well, time to go. Let's go greet some folks.
Yep. Hello all. Nice island you got here. Pretty neat.
You're docked up next to the SS Gustingale. You make some brief introductions. Most of them are gone. The only people currently by the ship are the captain and one of the crew.
So you
The
would
other
say
ones,
it's a skeleton crew.
mayhaps. That being said, this is a single-masted ship, so this is the expected crew. The people you see approaching in in robes, it doesn't take long to circumnavigate the island, but it does take long to like bleed off the speed and get the right angle with the wind and move into port. These might be the same people you saw on the other end. They're wearing rookery robes. When you get closer, you see they probably weren't wearing them for formal reasons. There's little blotches here and there of bird shit all over them.
They're really taking care of them, you know?
Yeah. So.
Welcome.
Yeah.
We're you're the Bilgewater, you're battle team, right?
I don't know about a battle team, but we have an automated mini cannon turret and a whole ass cannon apparatus and Jane.
Jane,
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Jane honestly does about as much damage as those two things, yes.
You notice them
Jane
like
waves.
they all wave back at Jane, and then you notice them all crane over trying to see like the crossbow over your shoulder. They see like the solenoid sticking out the end. So, oh, perfect. And one of the rookers in a robe comes by and goes, "Hey, I'm the commander, Rooker Blackfeather. This is the captain, Rooker Windlight, our crew, Storm Candle, Feather Duster. We're with the Gustingale. The Clatterhorn was here. Had to go back and start picking up some gear early for the build. Box teams still come in the Shadow Fog. But yeah, welcome to the rendezvous. It's not ceremonious, but I guess that's what's happening when you build a base on an island.
Build a covert base free from any other government restrictions on an island in the middle of nowhere with no one wanting to see you in order to build boxes.
Well, we found birds and we didn't find flags. That's good enough for us.
Yep.
So, you mind telling us exactly what we're doing here, or?
Well, we have individual goals. Build team has been given details as per the kind of building they've got to put together. We were sent here the earliest to maintain the bird population. Box team is coming last once we've got a bit of a base for setting up operations. And if you're battle team, I imagine they didn't give you instructions because you're kind of just supposed to be here.
Right.
So put your feet up and wait for people to show up, I guess.
Well, all right then. What kind of? I'm kind of looking this guy up and down. What do you arm yourself with?
You're about to sell this man ammunitions.
Maybe.
They look from side to side. You can see they have a hesitation. Like instinctively, someone says, "What kind of weapons you have?" You go, "Nothing." But after a moment, like the commander goes, uh, I deal with some elemental, mostly animal magic. Our captain here, elemental and some swords. The other two are muskets mostly.
All right. Well, you got any any special requests? I don't mean to brag, but
Oh, you make munitions?
maybe you heard of a little brand called Calanier and Son.
Nope. 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 No.
Oh,
How
well,
long have you been on the island?
Week and a half.
Well, best ammunitions you'll ever lay eyes on.
Here, we've got a bit of an informal base camp, but we've been mostly sleeping on the boat. You know, a place where we can put down our gear and start to cook.
Yep.
This island's big enough that we've still got some wildlife, but it won't come and steal your food.
Mm-hmm.
So, you could come down the pier, kill some time. We still gotta wait for the Clatterhorn and the Shadow Fog, but
How's the island for crop growth? Do we have any farming set up?
nothing yet. We were thinking of just importing with our budget.
What kind of buildings do they have set up? Like they have sort of a main, like, pier, obviously that's been built, and then I'm guessing
So the pier is not fresh. The pier must have been built by whoever came by and initially scouted this island, or decided it was fit for habitation. The camp is just tents for now. The Clatterhorn left, but you can see when they came by, they staked out and roped out an area, and they put like X's on the trees they're gonna have to chop.
All right.
Like they kind of just have a camp.
Are there any fortifications around the camp?
Nope.
That son's first primary thing is like, well, we just got a bunch of tents, but if anybody's coming in over land, we're pretty much defenseless because we can't really fight off an invasion party with cannons mounted on boats.
So would the boat be trolling around on the water during the days and nights, or do we want a standing defense?
Well, that's kind of what I'm thinking. We can keep a patrol going around if that's what we want to do, but as far as I'm concerned, if we build a big tower, we'll be able to see people coming in from ways away, right?
Well, we do have to build a tower for the birds. As a group, do you want to call this die odds or evens?
Evens!
I will side with them.
Yeah, you better.
It goes against my very soul.
The ship that you saw when you were passing is coming back after picking up a load at Newtown. Now it seems a bit bulkier. You can see that it's got loads of, not much stone, mostly wood, like boxes and crates of things.
Well, I feel like step one, first thing that Sun immediately is thinking being here is, it would be nice to have a big tower. To like, I don't know, be able to see.
A big tower is very obvious, though.
Yeah, well, so is boat at a pier, right? Like,
at least, like, yeah, being able to spot things from a distance is pretty good too.
Well, the first thing Jane notices as a captain is that this ship coming doesn't really have room. One of the boats is going to have to move.
Okay, well, yeah, let's move our boat because we're supposed to be patrolling anyway. And then we can talk about like defenses around the island.
do we have like a little dinghy, like a way to get if we're? Oh my god. Okay. All right, let's go.
Well, I don't know why Sun's complaining. You're the one who's, like, by default wearing, like, an open flame button-up and, like, cargo shorts. You could just jump in the water.
Yeah, dry's easy. It'll just be convenient. Okay, yeah, we'll move the boat.
Crockwell's gonna stay on land, but before, like, you guys get on the boat, she's gonna turn to Rooker and just be like, hey, Rooker,
Yes?
it would be pretty nice if we could sort of spice up some of the food that's going to be here. But naturally, I don't think that's going to be in their budget for their food supplies. So if we were to say get some spices going down here, maybe we could grow some in our spare time, and you would have it for your travels as well.
Farming. Okay, I thought you were talking about crimes. Yeah, we can farm.
Oh, yeah, sorry. That's sort of the default voice, isn't it? Like, Croquill's just like, sorry, just so used to it. Yeah, no, this is legitimate farming. I'll just... You
I was
want me to
also
make you
thinking
spice?
crime.
If you
Yeah.
pick me up seeds, I'll grow you spice. How's that sound?
Oh, okay. I was thinking, oh, you want me to steal some spices? I can steal some spices.
Well, obviously we could steal some spices. But no, like, this is, you know, they're going to be ordering in food and all this other stuff. We might as well, you know, make it so that it tastes good if we're going to be here.
Listen, stealing spices is literally every pirate's go-to maneuver.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the whole gig.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that time
Well-
we went to a mansion and I just stole all the expensive spices?
Yeah.
And Rooker just, like, hugged you? Yeah, I remember that.
Are there any... I know this is off topic. Are there any tall trees on the island?
Mhm.
Like building a tower takes some time, but maybe even just, like, a platform up in a tree that you could... Like, a nice tall tree, you know? Build a little tree house to get a nice vantage around the island.
Could
Well, the
we
boat has
call
to
it a
move.
crow's nest?
You got a crow's nest. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we're getting to the boat. We're getting to the boat.
All right.
So who's staying on land? Who's going out on patrol?
I am staying on land because I'm going to get sort of the lay of the land. I'm going to try and see what's going on.
I'm going to the boat. I'm doing boat stuff.
Jane?
I'm going to be on the patrol, talking about fortifications and stuff of the island.
Okay. In that case, who do you want to follow first? Croquill meeting the new crew, or the group on patrol?
It's a good question.
Patrol, patrol,
Patrol.
petrol, governor.
Alright. You watch as Croquill and the other Rookers prepare to receive this cargo boat. Undoubtedly, there's some sort of interaction going on there, but you have the mercy of being off for other business. You don't have to do any social nonsense.
Oh, nice.
Just as a final retcon, Rooker doesn't have anything to do. Would you be fine alone, or would you be like, come with me?
Come, we need at least 3 people to pilot this dang thing.
Well,
I mean,
currently on the
I would
boat
probably
are Jane,
like
Sun,
someone-
Rooker, Kennedy,
Oh, I
Tiana.
see. I see.
I would probably like someone to be on the island with me. So yeah, I would ask Rooker to stay behind.
All right. The rest of you sail off. Which way do you go around the island? You can go along the. Sorry, I keep messing up my left and right with my east and west. I can do them individually, then you start going left, right, east. Fuck. On the western side of the island is like closer to where the pier is, where you have those like sections of jungle. The south is where you have the several beaches. The like east and north is where you have the overhang and the cove, and the sections of jungle. Which way do you go?
How about we get a close look at that cove?
All right, you go back to investigate this cove a second time. As you make your way back, you can see a couple of different things. What are you doing to survey not just the cove, but the island as well?
I
Give me
mean,
a skill roll of some kind.
okay, you want a skill roll?
You
So
want a
this is-
skill roll? I'll give this skill.
So this is a science roll. Sun is taking out his pistol, and he's firing a shot at one side of the cove, and firing a shot at the other side of the cove, and then using that to triangulate the distance, just based on the time that it takes to get there.
I'm gonna stop him right there and be like, dude, that is the least accurate thing I've ever heard in my life.
It's a ballpark, ain't it?
As Jane goes for the crossbow instead.
All right, Otto, what do you reckon? How big's that cove?
Not being funny. Not trying to use this as an excuse to just shoot a gun. Not related to the size. Maybe you should shoot the cove to see if it's going to collapse.
All right, get it over here, you big lug. And I'm using Otto as a turret to fire off.
He says, "Get over here, you big lug," and then walks over to Otto.
Yeah, exactly. Well, swivel around so I can grab the handles, I guess.
So you grab the handles, you start to point his cannons, and he goes, "Wait for this all week." You, there's an impact, and you can see it shattering. At this point, you can hear some blips and some calculations. Otto goes, "Firm limestone, minimal structural damage."
Nice.
You would have stalactite falling problems, but no major collapse issues. Want to give me the science roll?
I'd love to give a science roll. Oh, baby, that's an 11, actually. Not bad for science.
Yeah.
You can tell that there's a couple of places where the wave action has made things weak. There's a couple of columns that hold up sections of rock, but you would need to know more about dirt to do anything other than measure it and go, huh?
That's what I was planning to do.
Jane?
I'll just follow whatever you guys want to do.
You guys have a smaller boat, don't you? On there? Like a raft? Is that
No, I asked about that. We do not.
Oh, we do not. Okay. I could have swore that we did, but yeah.
No, honestly,
definitely
if you get close enough, I'll just hop out and take a look around.
Want me to turn into a tuna?
Yeah.
Tuna maneuver 2. Electric tuna loo. Well, Jane, you have plenty enough to worry about trying to pilot this boat while everyone else is gawking off the front bow.
Mm-hmm.
You veer closer and try and get a better look. Sure enough, this has the space to fit a ship in. You wouldn't want to do it at full speed. This might be something you do carefully to try and conceal a ship if you need to. You get close enough that you can see the outline of the arch. Do we want to stay with the cove exploration, or do we want to go with the people on the pier?
People on the pier.
People on the pier. Whoa.
All right. Croakwill, you are with Rooker as this ship is lashing itself down and getting people ready. A section of the crew on board is standing at the ready, but you've heard them lashing up some pallets and getting ready to unload them. The people start coming down. This one is the SS Clatterhorn. It's the one you saw earlier with the hammer on the shield. There's a commander who introduces himself, Rooker Hardhat. The captain is Rooker Woodbender, and then you're introduced to the crew one by one. Hammersmith, Axeville, Rooftop, and Masonstone. They'll make some brief introductions. The build team has actually made contact on the island a bit earlier. They mostly just want to go out, get all their building materials unloaded, and then if they need to, they can moor the ship off out in the bay and then swim back, because the ship can just stay there until they need to do another order. But they don't have a rowboat either.
Well, this is just awkward now.
Someone's got to have a rowboat. Or we can make a rowboat.
Yeah, use some of that construction material to make a boat. Well, in that case, it's just well, all right. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what we need to do.
As they're unloading, the commander, not the captain, comes down. Similarly, I think implicitly the captain is currently Jane and the commander is Croakwill for the Bilgewater crew. Is that correct, or is that incorrect?
Yeah, I think that's correct.
So Commander Hardhat is looking over the books. He's dealing with most of the budget. I'm not going to make you go through the rigmarole of how much you're going to need to budget out. That's not your job. You're the battle team. You just ask for more bullets. That's what the budget's for.
And
He
most of
does
that goes to
mention
Sun for materials for bullets.
Yeah, well, you know.
they could go and get a rowboat. In fact, they could go and get a couple of rowboats if you wanted them, or some wagons or other build materials if you need to. They've got a significant budget for the initial setup and for setting up the infrastructure of the island. The budget will be tighter for ongoing maintenance.
We should definitely get some for the initial setup. Rowboats would be too useful for like island life. Even
Captain Woodbender suggests either expanding the existing pier or setting up an additional one elsewhere on the island.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. Um.
Build our own little Bilgewater bat cave.
I think we should expand the existing pier.
By now it's getting close to the early afternoon, I believe. It's past lunch. Who do we want to follow? The people doing the island planning or the people exploring the cove?
Well, we'll go back and forth. Let's do Cove now.
Yeah.
Cool.
You've slowed up to the point where you aren't anchored, but like you've laid down your sails and you're just kind of drifting to and fro using the rudder to just kind of like slowly make sure you're not drifting in the wrong direction. You're by the mouth of the cove. You've slowed up a decent bit. The way it's lapping to and fro, it's limestone and it looks reasonably secure. You feel safe enough swimming in there.
Yeah, I'm climbing down the ladder. Keeping my blunderbuss and munitions kind of above my head, one-handed, and wading out there.
All right. So you climb down the ladder. You don't do a big dive. You just get down there and woof into the water. It's a bit cold because it's ocean water, but it's not that bad. You hear a splash, and you see what looks like an eel swim past you. Must have been Bilgy, because when you look back, you don't see him on the boat.
Eel!
It's the eel maneuver.
Back on the boat, Jane, with the access of your like crossbow scope, you can see everything that's going on until they're out of sight. You are out in the bay. It's in deep water. You're outside the mouth of the cavern. What do you do?
Are you going in the cavern?
Yeah, I'm going in the cavern.
Alright. You swim directly in. Bilgy's faster than you, and you can see the occasional like jolt of light as he makes a bit of like a spark. There's no sign of anything. You get in towards the arch. You don't hear it at first because of the splashing, but when you stop to make sure you are where you are to check your surroundings, things are starting to echo. Now that you've made it in, there's an initial bend that you saw was the cove, but it's more of like an L shape. It's a bit bigger on the inside.
All right. Can we see the back of it? Just like...
Not quite. From the inside here, you could follow like the left-hand wall, which would lead you around the far side. You think you see like an opening up top that might be a difficult climb. Or you could take the right-hand side, which is closer to a blind turn, but it would show you the far wall soonest.
Yeah, I'll go along the right-hand side. Sun probably carried a couple torches with him in that bundle that he was holding above his head to keep dry. Gonna light one of those and investigate.
Alright, you have to be careful not to move too close. Your foot's brushed up against them before, but the limestone is a bit craggly here and there.
Yeah.
It's got little pockets and places that toes could get stuck.
Yeah.
You make your way around the corner to a point where you start to feel a bit of a floor. It's uncomfortable, but after getting off of a crag, you hit like kind of a sandy, silty bottom underneath. You're able to get firm footing as you light the torch, and you can see the inside. There was an opening up towards like the top. You can see like a ray of light coming in. It might be climbable, it might not. On the inside, you actually see this must have been used as a cove before, because there's... If you were to ask the question, is there a pier? Visually, yes.
Right.
Logistically, absolutely not. If you try to lash your boat to this pier, you will die and then get tetanus.
Yeah.
Okay. There's some old broken barrels, and then you see that the caverns actually go deeper in, but the way that the light shimmers off the damp walls, this is probably just a brief little cavern that goes back outside.
Okay, well, I'm looking like straight up there. Is there any rope that indicates people used to climb up here?
You narrow your eyes and start to look. There is no usable rope at this time, but you see like a crack that has a little like piton in it and like a frayed bit of rope that's blowing in the wind that's long since snapped off.
Alright, so somebody at some point used this for their boat.
Yeah.
I don't want to put the bilge water here because we're going to need that to fight, but maybe one of the smaller or seldom used boats, if they want to be a little more secure, could hang out in here. Cool.
Interesting.
Yep. Pretty neat. No weird mole people that want us to give them back their shit and leave. So
Currently, son, you feel like you're just kind of out in the water. You've got like a firm foothold with this torch so you can look around. But Jane, from your perspective, he is right on the edge of disappearing into the darkness.
I trust him to make the right decisions. I'm not gonna like yell at
he
him.
has a large gun. He'll be okay.
He has Bilgy, right?
He has Bilgy. Yeah. All right. I guess the only thing
Unless
I want to
that
do
actually was just an electric eel. That's like Bilgy just
Yeah.
went back below deck. Like, okay, he's gone.
He's gone.
I'm gonna go make a sandwich.
Yeah.
Don't tell Rooker.
Not to push my luck, but I would like to check the far end there that I can see the light bouncing off of. It's probably short, but might as well, you know.
All right. You move into shallower water and disappear out of Jane's scope. Back on the pier, it's getting closer to like the late afternoon. You've had a chance to talk to these people. They've unloaded most of their stuff and they've unmoored their ship and like set it out. The captain is going to stay on until you have a sailboat just to make sure someone's on the ship in case something bad happens. Everyone else, though, you see like while it's still bright out, is like swimming over and bringing over like last bits of forgotten things. But most of them took down their tents and like laid them on the pier so they could go and set them up in the campsite. Now that there's more people here setting up, you can see that there's a bit of an actual camp in from the pier in like a clearing. They're wondering about what to do next, where to go. You still have to finish your initial objective, which is to have all 4 ships rendezvous, though.
Right,
Oh,
so we're
that's
still
okay.
waiting for Box Team, right?
Yeah.
Well, if we're gonna have all 4 ships rendezvous, the best thing we could either do is expand out the pier to fit more, or get some rowboats. I think the option is both.
Both of the commanders concur. The Clatterhorn says like we can start doing the planning, maybe get the pier out first in the next couple of days, and then we can go make a run to get like additional wood and to get the rowboats.
Makes sense.
You spend some time like looking at plans, looking at like how you want this set out. Currently, it's just like a straight pier that can fit 1 ship on either side. Do you want it to be like a T? Do you want it to be like a big plus? Do you want it to be like a line and then like an I shape? What kind of pier are you looking at? Because
These all big, like hard to maneuver ships, or
the biggest ones are a tie between the Bilgewater and the Clatterhorn.
okay.
But I imagine the
just don't wanna
Box
make
Team
it, like-
isn't going to be a warship. Box Team
Yeah, like
probably won't be anything special either.
No.
Turns out Box Team is actually like the most decked out of all of us.
Yeah.
I don't really know. Grokel's just
Whatever's
like
easiest, honestly.
yeah,
like,
Grokel's just like boat shape, like dock shapes. Let's go with T. With let's just go with like a plus. Yeah, plus seems to be the most versatile. It'll be able to fit any of our solutions.
they seem to concur. Like, expand it a bit further so there's a bit of like leeway on both sides, and then make like a tee off from there. Back in the cavern, Jane, you've lost both of them. Son, as you make your way onto shore, a little bit afterwards, Bilgy follows you up and returns to his humanoid form. Well, rat-oid form,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
more humanoid than an electric eel.
There's got to
Flying
be.
squirrel.
I think the answer is that like you got dwarf-born, you got elf-born. I feel like humans, you can't call them humans. There's got to be a. They're just nothing. They're just blank. You know.
I mean, they're default fantasy.
They're default.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're pinkies.
Yankees. Problem.
I
You
will
literally.
be right back.
Here's the problem. You can't come up with a new word for a human without it being racist.
Mhm.
And it's just impossible. So we're stuck. But like, rat people are human. You know.
Yep.
They're just not.
All right, moving on. How's this cave journey?
Well, you've made your way onto dry land with Bilgy. You've got the torch. You can see the same rotten pier and broken crates and rotten barrels as before, but you're now out of sight. The cavern
boy.
mouth looms before you, but you can see a small other one.
Second cavern, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Does it look like it goes real deep, like real far?
As you get close to peer in, it's an uncomfortable entry, but it's more almost like hopping a fence, and then it's shallow.
Oh.
You can feel a bit of water on your feet around that height. It looks a little bit like stewy and tepid.
Yep. All right. Well, that's enough exploring for me. I don't think anything's living in there. I'm just looking for monsters, you know.
Well, you didn't find a monster.
Cool.
Probably was a wide number of things living in there.
Yeah. This goes like way further back though, right? Like you could spend a whole day exploring in here.
You didn't see the back of it. You just like got to the edge and then saw gross algae-ridden water.
Mm-hmm. All right. All right. Well, you know what? Just for fun, I'm gonna fire a shot into the darkness there to see if it hits anything that yells at me. But first, I'm gonna yell, "Hello, anyone in there?"
There's no response.
Yeah.
Bilgy goes up to block his ears.
Yeah. Do a little ping.
Is this with like the big L thing?
Yeah.
There's a big borf sound. You see the light illuminated, but it's a very shallow crackle, and most of the resonance comes from behind you in the cavern.
Yeah.
The gunshot is amplified, but with the amount of openings and the amount of space here, it isn't fully deafening.
Perfect.
I love this because since Chelsea is gone, we're gonna have to explain that she just hears a gunshot coming from the cave, and she won't have any context.
Nothing comes running out at me.
Yeah. All right, so Jane, sun left your field of vision. It's been about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You hear a gunshot.
I hear a gunshot. From inside the cave?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Are they like within earshot? Like, could I yell at them?
Maybe? It's tough to tell. You could be drowned out by the cave. You're not close enough to really be audible that way.
Huh. I guess yell his name, see if he responds.
Do I hear Jane yelling?
Nope.
Does
So you're
anything
still where
happen?
you are.
Yeah. Does anything come running at me?
No.
Well, guess it's empty then. And I head back to the boat.
Okay, there's still the shimmery one that you didn't follow, the one that you could just walk into.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, I'll walk into that one then.
Okay, this one's roomy. You're able to follow it for a little while. It makes kind of like an elbow turn, and then you're out at like a small beach. You wouldn't have been able to see it because it's just like the rock happens to crag out in just the right way. But when you come around a corner and past a bush, you're out into the sand. You can see just the back end of the bilge water.
Cool. And how far are we from the base camp?
From here, you would have to climb over about a meter's worth of rock. So, like,
okay.
you would have to climb, but, like, it's not a hazardous climb. If you fall, you're like, ow, and then you try again.
Yeah.
From there, maybe like a 10-minute walk.
Oh, okay. Well, perfect. We got this place. We need to hide a boat, and there's nothing living in that cave, because if it heard the sound of a fine sun-made shot ringing out, it probably would have come to meet its doom. So I think we're good.
All right.
Come to you to buy some ammunition.
Yeah.
Was that Canonier and Son munitions?
Woo-wee!
Just rises up from the water with a fucking blunderbuss.
So, do you swim back in open ocean, or do you swim back through the sea cave?
We'll probably go back into the cave. Makes the most sense. That's where they're expecting us.
So after like 3 minutes, you see Sun reappear after the gunshot.
Don't worry, there's nothing in the cave.
I figured he was doing something dumb.
Dumb. This is exploration. I had a hypothesis and I tested it. That's science.
What was your hypothesis?
That there's probably nothing in that cave.
It's getting close to the dinner hour. What the Bilgewater gonna do?
I guess head back to the docks and see what everybody's doing then.
Yeah, so here's my thought. When you're on a boat patrolling, you can only see one half of the island at any time. But if you're up high in the middle of the island, you got 360 degrees of unobstructed vision.
If you were to scope out a spot like that, you're extremely likely to find it to the point where you might find like 5 potential candidates. This is something you'd probably want Jane for too, because like it's a viewpoint. You want the sniper for that.
Yeah.
But you could probably journey deeper into the island to find that on a different day.
Yeah, that's kind of my. I think that patrolling around in a boat is fine, but it's not really going to keep us as safe as being able to just watch for enemy ships coming in.
It's not the best for seeing the enemy's approach, but it's the best for having a ship already in the water.
Yeah, that is true.
So you slowly veer back in towards the pier. The Clatterhorn is docked off of the pier. The Gusting Gale is still docked to it. Where do you dock?
I guess to the pier.
I feel like
one of them is off of it, right?
we'd probably drop anchor close enough, like, you know, within swimming or wading distance, and then honestly, Sun is just gonna keep building munition. He doesn't really gain anything by going on and talking to a bunch of people he doesn't know.
Well,
People that don't even know Canonier and Sun munition.
Yeah, people that don't know me, people I don't know, while wearing those stuffy robes, I might as well just stay on the boat. Keep an eye on things.
I still think we should dock at the dock because we're going to be having dinner soon, and I'm sure we're all going to be having dinner together. So.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'm going to roll another die. Odds or evens as a group?
Evens.
Odds.
Yeah, odds.
Ooh,
Let's go odds. Odd
Odds it
gang.
is.
Oh, wait, I don't roll that.
So you're mostly like lashed up to the pier. Sun is intending to stay inside and craft munitions next to the pier for a little while. It's a little bit irksome because occasionally the ship knocks, and then all of your like powder just kind of goes. Shh. As you've just finished lashing down your ship, though, there's a darkish cloud that's coming in. It's high and diffuse, so it doesn't come in with a storm, but it starts to just kind of spit. It's very foggy as well. There's a light in the fog.
Oh, maybe that's the box boat.
Maybe that's the box boat. Here's hoping.
It should probably be ready to like get up and move from the dock at any moment, so...
Yeah, well, they're
Probably.
gonna need a space dock, so, Hey, where's the crew of that big old boat? Over there.
The Clatterhorn?
Yeah. Maybe we should want to move, give them space to dock.
Well, the Clatterhorn's the only one that's just like anchored.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. I think we...
So
because
it's
we don't have
you
any
or
reason
it's the
to.
Gusting Gale.
Yeah, we'll move. We'll move. Give them a real Bilgewater welcome.
You sigh, you untie your knots, throw them back on, and unmoor the ship and start to drift back off. You open up your sails. It's a bit tough because they bring some of that rain with them. It seems to be centered around them. You anchor a little bit off as this ship is moving in to like moor itself up. It seems fortuitous because they start to unload some things, and you can see some of the wizards on board starting to like wave their hands and cast things. And you can see that the fog isn't dispelled, but it's sort of like expands to fill a donut around the island.
Oh! Like that one island in Subnautica.
Yeah.
Now that you see it, this seems a bit familiar. One of you may have seen it a bit earlier when you were docked by Westwatch, came and went.
Yeah.
This is the sparkly boat that I saw.
The ghost ship. Yeah.
The ghost ship. Oh, no, yeah.
We just got here faster than them. That's just
Yeah. Those idiots.
the power
No
of the
board
bilge water.
Well,
It's dinner time. If you want to, you have plausible reason to decide to have this meeting tomorrow.
well, we should probably send a representative down to
I'm the
participate in
representative.
the
I'll
rendezvous.
participate with the whole rendezvous while you
Alright,
guys have dinner. A commander's work is never done.
Yeah, I've been told before that I'm not good at diplomacy, so
So yeah, your friends come, they lash down to the pier, they unlash, they depart, and then this other ship lashes down. From there, a couple of figures come down. You're introduced to a Rooker Witchlight, who's the commander, and a Rooker Foghorn, who's the captain, alongside Instruments and Devious. These ones are closer to you than anyone else in the Rookery. You get the same vibe as like a bunch of other scheming adventure-y types.
ooh.
They have much more of a magical bent than you do, though. You're much more like combat oriented.
What? Us? Combat oriented? What do you mean?
What?
Hey, remember the last time that we tangled with a maid?
If I recall, I blinded several of them.
Yeah.
It's all the ships, but they mention it is close to dinner. You could have like maybe a nice welcome speech, but otherwise all the other commanders are recommending you just kind of like keep things easier for tonight, or just have a quick like hello, welcome, everyone's here, we'll start tomorrow, have a good evening kind of speech.
Yeah.
What do you think, Rooker Croquill?
Rooker?
You?
Croak.
I'm trying to remember. I think you actually asked me what my Rooker name was, and I made up something ridiculous, and I don't remember what it is.
I think it was something that wasn't Croquill. It was like Ravenfeather or something.
Yeah, I think it was something like Rooker Ravenfeather or something just annoyingly similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really one for speeches, so I guess it's just let's eat and get to know each other.
All right, and with that, they disperse so you can all take care of your individual crews. Come tomorrow, the commanders are going to have to meet for broader mission priorities, and then you're going to have to meet with your captains for day-to-day priorities. Everyone's going to have different things to do. That being said, this is not a resort. This is a camp. It might be one soon, but it's not quite yet. But it could be in time. And if you want to check that out, you can tune back in at twitch.tv/Mr. Croden. You can come into youtube.com/Croden_live. Is that right, or is that backwards?
Twitch is Croden_live. YouTube
Okay,
is
and YouTube
Mr.
is
Croden.
Mr. Croden.
Yeah.
We'll be back later half of 7 on Wednesday, but there's other streams happening. Is there anything else coming up?
Yeah, I think it's the new year, so I'm still spooling up a little bit. But I think we still have Temtem on Thursday and Mass Effect on Friday. Will, are we doing our stream on Saturday?
Yeah, sure. Let's do
Yeah.
it. Jimmy the Swimmy.
Yep, Jimmy the Swimmy in Oblivion, doing his thing.
Hmm.
We'll see what sort of chaos he can come up with.
Yeah, it should be a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So happy 2022.
Yeah.
2020.
2020, 2020, 2022, 2020.
And if it's as mean as the past couple of years, as at least we've fought those fuckers before. We can fight them again. Rock and roll.
Yep.
So as always, thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.